there's a way to make an entrance.
This is my destiny.
It was now a conspiracy of witches.
Download Veely today.
Tonight on the House of Tiny Tearaways.
Ow! Ah, you've fallen off. Get back on. You're doing good.
Arms around him. Let him cuddle you. Go on, let him cuddle you.
Today is the second day of a brand new week at the House of Tiny Tearaways. One of our families had to leave unexpectedly yesterday, so today a new family arrives with a totally new set of problems, and Tanya will have only 5 days to help them. The Scotts and the Newell family have arrived in the house, desperate for clinical psychologist Dr. Tanya Byron to help them tackle their children's extreme problems. With just 5 days left, both the families are hoping that Tanya can turn their lives around for good in the House of Tiny Tearaways. It's the second day in the house. Yesterday, the Fletcher family had to leave after 3.5-year-old Charlie was diagnosed with chickenpox.
Bye.
It's 7:30 a.m. and Natasha Scott is the first to wake. She's in bed with Dad, Richard, whilst Mum is asleep in Natasha's bed.
Who's asleep in your bed? How come you're not in your bed?
Alison and Richard Scott have sought Tanya's help with their only child, Natasha, who's nearly 4. Natasha has such a serious sleep problem that she ends up in her parents' bed every night, forcing Mum, Alison, to sleep in the spare room. Last night, Alison Scott put Natasha to bed. Not long after, Natasha climbed into bed with her parents as usual, forcing Alison out of the bed.
Pebble.
No.
Oh, don't move that.
Thank you. Get off.
This little piggy went to market. Don't laugh,
You're
it's
nice and
serious.
quiet this morning.
This little piggy stayed at home.
Get off.
This little piggy had roast beef. And this little piggy went wee 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 wee.
It's 8:30 and both the Newells and the Scotts are eating breakfast in the kitchen.
I don't want these pieces out.
Yes, you do.
Alison talks to Richard about last night.
Yeah, but in your room it's very warm and in Natasha's room it's very cold, so it can't have been consistent throughout the rooms.
Yeah, it can't be.
Because I was ready to come and lay on the bottom of your bed because I was so cold.
It kept my feet warm.
Yeah. Except my feet were dangling off the end, so I couldn't. I was ready to make a bed in the bathroom were warmer.
I actually didn't sleep too bad.
I came in and said, you were like, Alison, go to sleep.
You came in for a big convo. I need a magazine. I'm like,
I didn't say I need a magazine. I said, I've got to
I'll
get
get my
some
printer out and just knock you
tablets.
one
It's freezing and I've got a headache. So I went and got tablets out and you went, just go back to bed and go to sleep. And I thought, hang on, he says that to me, he never says that to Natasha. And he's saying to me, come to bed and go to sleep.
it worked. Did you go
Come
back
to
to
bed and go
sleep?
to sleep.
How did Natasha Scott sleep last night? Bearing in mind, at home she sleeps in the same bed as her dad, really up close to him, and Mum is relegated to the spare room. Did that happen here?
Totally. It totally happened. Which isn't surprising because Natasha did tell me that that is what was going to happen. Bless her heart. I mean, she's very clear, you know, this is how it is. And I know that Mummy and Daddy don't want it, but that's what I want, so that's what's going to happen. And that's very interesting because what you see by day is a very sweet little girl who behaves really nicely, shares really... Absolutely. But she was quite a different child when it came to bedtime. Wanted Daddy to do this, Mummy to do that. She went from being this really lovely, sort of happy-go-lucky little girl during the day to being quite a demanding, controlling child who fundamentally got her own way.
If you go in and start sleep training, Natasha's going to get the shock of her life, isn't she?
Well, I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle. I think Alison and Richard seem to be wanting the really sort of full-on, hardcore sleep training, let's just crack this. Partly, I think, because they want to do all the kind of difficulty here and not have to do it at home. I still haven't really worked out what the sleep training is going to be. And partly that's because I want to give Alison and Richard the responsibility, because it makes me very uncomfortable when parents walk into the house and say, we don't want to do the emotion on this. We don't really want to have to put up with a heartache. You're Tanya Byron. You're tough. Could you just kind of be tough with us for a week, sort it out so we can go home and it's like all pain forgotten? So I think they need to take some more ownership of what's going to happen in the house over the next few nights. Right, I'll see you in a bit, boys.
After breakfast, the Newells have their first consultation with Tanya, while the Scotts look after Kai and his younger brother, Tyler.
Are they like your teeth?
You've not been in here before, have you?
No.
No, well, welcome to the consultation room. Do you want to sit there, darling? Paul, if you just sit over there, that'd be great.
Sarah and Paul Newell are struggling to cope with their 2.5-year-old son, Kai. His terrible tantrums and lack of bond with Dad Paul are making family life unbearably stressful.
She's only going to the shop.
You really started to seek help.
Tanya decides to talk to the couple about Kai's early years and exactly when their problems first started.
Just for me, it's really important to get a sense of history from when Kai was born.
Okay. Yeah.
When you got pregnant, things weren't great between the two of you.
We was just getting
Just getting back together.
Yeah, we was just starting over again.
What were the problems before, just so I know?
I was lazy. I wouldn't do anything in the house. I'd come straight from my mum doing everything, and then I went to live with Sarah, and Sarah did everything. I'd never lived in a house before. I didn't know what to do. Didn't pay any bills, anything. And then Sarah took over and started doing everything.
I said to you at the one stage, I said, I feel like your mum, and I said, how can I have sex with somebody if I'm feeling that? Because that used to be a bit of an issue for us.
What, sex?
Yeah. And I was starting to resent Paul, you know, because he was having a great time and things like that, and I was sitting there going, what am I doing? I'm sitting here looking after him and all that. I said, it's as if he doesn't give a damn about me.
So it was like adult-child sort of thing. And then that pushed on for a few months, and then what happened?
When he was 5 months old, I said to Paul, I said, that's it. I said, we're finished. I mean, I saw Paul as more of a problem as such, and I thought if I can eradicate that one problem, there's only me and Kai I can deal with then.
Did you protest, or did you just leave straight away, or...?
I left straight away.
Yeah.
What was your relationship like with Kai at that stage?
There was tension.
Tension between you and Kai?
Yeah, because he wouldn't go to me at all.
Is it surprising that at the age of 14 months he starts to have temper tantrums? It sounds to
Looking
me...
like that now.
No.
It sounds to me like the beginning of his life has been fraught, stressed, anxious, depressed, unpredictable, erratic, and really difficult for everybody. But you guys are the adults, he's the baby, this is what he knows. So, if we think about it in that way, can you see that it might be that his behaviour is telling us quite a lot about what kind of feelings he's experienced in his life?
Yeah. Does now, yeah.
So, is Kai a bad child?
No.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about last night, Paul, because last night you were getting very aggressive with him. You were gritting your teeth at him. You were really physically pulling him around. It was as if this little boy was a grown man. What happened to you there?
I don't know. I've never been that aggressive.
So Kai has a tantrum, you have a tantrum?
Yeah, looks like it, yeah.
All right.
Listening to it now, I feel ashamed of what I've done.
You get quite angry with him sometimes if he goes too far. Yeah, you tell me you restrain him, you put him to in the stair, you shout at him, you've smacked him.
I have smacked him before, yes.
Right, okay. Do you think we smack and hit and restrain our kids because they are who they are, or is it to do with the fact that there's something inside us that is just so unhappy and anxious and frustrated that then their behaviour, which possibly is very irritating at the time, but they are a child, will key into something and tips us over the edge?
I was smacked a lot as a child.
Right.
By my mother, not my dad.
And your mum herself had quite a few problems?
Yes. So when my dad wasn't around, I copped it.
Right.
A lot of the times I'd go to school with trousers on.
Because of bruising?
She'd cop me on the settee, give me a wallop. She'll say, you've asked for that.
Oh, sweet.
And then she'll say, wait till your father comes home. And I was petrified of him. But my dad never used to do anything. Or my dad would have to say, what have you been doing, young lady? And I'll be quaking, absolutely quaking. I used to lie at home waiting for him to come home. And that's why when I have smacked Kai, I think, oh my God, I'm a mum.
Oh, sweetheart. Oh.
That's why.
Put your arms around her.
You know, when...
Let him cuddle you, go on, let him cuddle you.
When Kai has wound me up to a point where he hasn't listened to me and things, and
he's a little boy,
you know, and I'm like, you know, why don't you listen to me?
Because he's a little boy, and I think he's confused. But let me just say one thing to you, and I want you to listen to me really, really carefully, okay? You've both had different histories, different upbringings. You've had a lot going on. You've had a childhood where you were quite frightened a lot of the time. You have had postnatal depression and you've had depression. You love your man, you love Sarah, but there have been difficulties and so on. All that helps me understand Kai's behaviour. And because there is so much, and emotionally I can see this is going to be a tough week for both of you, I'd like us to take it really, really, really slowly. And all I want you to do with him today is play with him. Particularly you, Paul. If he has a temper tantrum, just walk away and leave him. Just ignore it. Let's just do something very simple. If it gets out of control, I will come in and help you deal with it. But I think this week needs to be very gentle for the two of you. Because I feel like I need to put my arms around the two of you for you to put your arms around him.
Off they go to the show. Poppy and Sam climb up into the cart. Oh, all right.
Let's not go down the wrong way. Not go down the wrong way. Is that okay? Oh, I think it went down the wrong way.
You all right, mate?
I think his jelly bean just went down the wrong way.
Chew, chew, chew.
Chew.
Chew properly.
Let's talk about the Newells. Dad, Paul, described Kai, who's the older child, 2.5, as a nightmare.
Well, have you seen a nightmare?
I've seen the sweetest little boy.
What is quite complicated about the story of Kai's life is that Kai is very much seen to be responsible for a lot of the problems that both Sarah and Paul have had. He is very much representing all the stress and unhappiness that has been going on in the family since he was born. But I think Sarah and Paul have got so hooked into his behaviour that they've lost a sense of an understanding of who he is as a little boy, and they're just focusing on him in such a behavioural way that it's actually making the behaviour worse. I think that it's going to be a tricky one, really, because fundamentally it's about Paul and Sarah really taking responsibility as adults to be the adult parents in the relationship, but at the moment that's not happening, and I think that's going to be the task for the week ahead. Sarah is still very embedded in a lot of her own unhappiness, and I think Paul is still not clear in his own mind about what it is to be a father and how to be a father. It's almost as if he's kind of got it with Tyler because he made a commitment to being a dad and to being Sarah's partner when Tyler was born. But because that never happened when Kai, the eldest, was born, it's almost as if he feels like he's lost the boat with his son. So that's something that needs an awful lot of thinking about.
With the unexpected departure of the Fletcher family yesterday, a new family, the Dixons, are on their way into the house.
Can't believe it. We're actually here, sweetheart. Oh, God, can't get in the gate.
Yes. Yes.
Hi, I'm Tasha Dixon, and this is Kai, who's 3.5. His main problem is his behaviour. Temper tantrums, just getting out of control, going beyond the point where it's like he can't stop.
Over the last 2 years, Natasha's only son, Kai, has changed from being an affectionate toddler to a volatile little boy.
Mummy, please. I mean, he had his little tantrums, but he was just such a delight, he was. I do find it quite difficult to find sort of good things about him. He literally will turn into the devil within seconds. He needs constant attention. You know, you literally can't take that off him for a second.
Single mum and former professional nanny Natasha uses textbook techniques in an attempt to calm her son down, but they rarely work.
Stay in your room, though, you're being silly. Not having this. I have to hold onto the door, otherwise he'll just rip it open and run out. I just feel constantly suffocated, like can't breathe. You can't go in the hallway. I mean, his new habit now is spitting. I don't know where he got it from. I don't do it. It's not very nice. There's nothing good about my day or my life I can speak about. And that's how I feel most days. Because my time is basically with Kai. Am I laughing? No, I'm not. Come here, please, now. What time I do have with Kai, it's just awful. It's just really, really awful. Kai! Help! No, come here. I think he's trying to do to me is wear me down. There we go, on our feet. Well, I can't make you walk, Kai.
Whenever the Dixons go out of the house, Natasha faces a constant battle to get Kai to walk on his own 2 feet.
Come on, sweetheart, quick. I feel embarrassed. I feel upset because I think, you know, all he needs to do is just get up and walk, but he won't. He wants to be carried. Come on, let's go, please. When he was younger, if he threw a wobbler like that, I just pick him up and just go home. But then as he gets bigger and older, I can't do that any longer. Like, he needs to know that if he wants to get home, he needs to walk home. Bye! Eventually, you know, I will have to sort of carry him home because he will just stay there all night.
Natasha is finding that being a parent is pushing her to the limit.
I get to a point where I just really hate him. I just think, you know, this is the child born into the world, and I think I hate him because what he's putting me through, a lot of the time I think it's my fault. Well, I can't blame Kai because he's 3, so it can't be his fault. So it is my fault.
As it's the first day in the house for Natasha and Kai Dixon, Tanya will be spending today observing their interactions to get a better understanding of where the problems lie.
Mum!
No.
Mummy!
Fire at night. Yeah, no touching. Just leave it there, please. No, leave it there, please, Kai. I said no, Kai. Kai? No, stop touching it. I said no. Oh. No, go to... What did I say? Go for the sweets? No. Oh, God. That went well, didn't it? Don't try to... No. Hey. This is like asking to be touched, don't they, really, those? Oh, I suppose you can have a few. I feel quite evil if I didn't give any. It'd be like, hi. Stop touching now, just have those. And that's enough, OK? Good boy. Put these in a bin.
In the interest of safety, Tanya has asked the families to ensure their children stay out of the kitchen at all times.
Wait, get out, please. No, you can't do it, Kai. Don't you've done. Wait for the gate. See, if you weren't touching, if you want something, ask Mummy.
Dad, I'm hungry, please.
Right, Kai, get out the kitchen. It's not for small people.
No! Get me another one.
No, I said wait for me, please. Don't.
I want to go.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to meeting you both. Let me give you a hand because you're kind of on your own and you've come in late and stuff.
I'm used to it.
How can I help you? What's the...
Well, word like that. Well, it's actually quite weird. I mean, at the moment, he's been a little gem, ironically enough.
What?
No. No, you're not allowed the kitchen. No, you're not allowed the kitchen. I don't know. It's very varied. Problem I have. It's just like. I mean, when he was little, it was different because when he was smaller, you know, it seemed to be cute at the time. The little tantrums to have, and how he used to like sort of manipulate you and doing things, and it seemed quite cute when he was small. Because you think, oh, he's a little baby. But as he's got older, he's more aggressive. He's just more angry, and he's just more persistent, and he just, you know, he will go on and on and on and on. And I just find when I want to get things done,
like this.
Yeah, he doesn't listen to me. And I've got constantly remind him that I'm doing something, and he will go on and on and on until I turn around and say, look. And it's like that all the time.
Yes.
Right, I'll have those. No, not opening them. No. No, just wait. Look, Kai. No, if you can wait till I put all this stuff away, then I'll make you something. Didn't I say that already? No, just wait. No, just wait 2 minutes. Leave the gate alone. Look, go find a toy. Quick, I put these away.
Do you go out much with him?
I don't like going out. I fear the worst. I anticipate what's going to happen.
This is before you go out?
Yeah, basically.
Right, so you fear the worst, you anticipate the worst, right?
And so I'm anxious before I've left the door. So before I got the door, there's an argument started already.
Right.
So I'm stressed, I'm rushing, I want to get out the door. And it's basically I'm coming home, I've got a huge migraine,
right.
I'm upset, and it's like a waste of a day. I might as well stay in.
So it's you and he really pretty much together on your own all the time?
It has been 4 years, 24/7.
Right.
Literally.
Right.
I'm not exaggerating, it's just 24/7, it's just me and him.
And give me the percentage of pleasure versus stress.
As he's got older, I'd say 70% of the time, he's just...
70% of the time?
It's just, well, that's not pleasure, that's just complete... Get off that, please, Kai. It's not a chair. Get off, please. Now. Get off, please. It's just... I don't know.
And is that pretty much the majority of your interactions, what I just saw there?
All day long.
And
it's a joy.
It doesn't, is it? It upsets you a lot, doesn't it?
It does, actually, yeah.
You look quite upset.
I am, but I'm not going to cry.
Why?
I don't know, I think I've cried too much. And I'm always crying in front of him, and it upsets me that I'm always constantly talking about him in front of him, crying in front of him.
Do you think he feels he's let you down?
Oh. No, I think it's the other way around.
You feel you've let him down?
Yeah, I really do. I just think that I've done all I can, I've done all I've tried with him.
When you leave in a few days' time, on about Friday, what are you hoping that we will have achieved together?
That I enjoy his company more. You know, he's only 4, I'm not even 4 yet, and I'm not enjoying it at all.
Let's talk about the Dixons. Mum Natasha and son Kai, rather confusingly, 2 Kais and 2 Natashas now in the house.
Yes.
She has a real battle on her hands.
Yes.
Every moment that her and Kai are awake, it seems, with big fighting, tantrums, him being put in the room, him spitting, which we haven't seen in the house before.
Yes.
How are you going to deal with this in only 5 days?
Well, I mean, one thing I am feeling quite relieved about is having just spent a little bit of time observing Kai, I kind of feel like I don't need a whole observation day to see what the problem is. However, Natasha is on her own. She's come in a day later. She's very, very anxious, really talking very, 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 very fast, very emotional, but doesn't want to be emotional. For me, it's now in building a relationship with her.
This is one giant leap. I feel like the first man on the moon. I feel like Neil Armstrong. Ah, you've fallen off. Get back on. You're doing good.
Kai, can you let go of his leg now, sweetheart?
Okay.
Oh, you don't have to do. Yeah. Okay, I've just got one left.
Oh, because he couldn't walk with 2 of you on there, Kai. Careful, Kai.
Richard and Alison Scott are due to see Tanya for their first consultation later today.
I laugh if she says I do everything right and it's you. You see, I put her to bed, so it's obviously going to focus on me because I put her to bed.
Are you seriously bothered?
Yeah?
You're an adult. You're nearly 40.
I'm not nearly 40, I'm only halfway through 30s.
You're nearly 40, you're an adult.
I don't need a right big bar of chocolate.
You are, aren't you? You're all bloody women. What on earth's up with you?
I don't know.
Come here. Is it because you're missing your soaps?
I know just how you feel, Bob. It was exactly the same.
I haven't said out yet.
Don't let you see you.
It's such an emotional roller coaster. And that's why as soon as I walked in, I started blubbering. She said, "We haven't started yet." I said, "I can't believe it."
Is Paul emotional?
He hides it.
You
hides it.
Oh, you're not just emotional. You're not very emotional.
When I realised, you know, it's mainly our fault.
That's
you know.
right, no, that's the thing.
But the thing, you know, for somebody to actually say it's your fault, you don't want to actually
And
think
you've
that,
tried so hard and
I
you think
turned
I've
around
done it
and I
all
said,
wrong.
I feel so terrible and guilty that I've done this to my child. When she actually puts it in black and white and step by step, you think, I have done it. And I'm thinking,
I can't wait to find out what we've done wrong.
The thing is,
And that's
we've
when
been
I
too
turn around.
soft.
Well,
The thing is that
you can't love your kid too much, can you?
we've gone too far the other way, I think. You know, we've not had any discipline.
But don't go
on a
in
night.
thinking
I
that.
know.
You know,
Can I go in my bedroom
why?
with my friend?
Can we actually sit and build a tower?
Build a
Build
tower.
a tower with me.
Build a good one.
I will.
Come on then.
Oh, this isn't about bollocking. It's about sorting this out.
It's on as well.
Oh, look, I'm building a tower.
Got little sparklers on yours.
What you doing?
Perhaps I need to be more understanding.
I didn't marry you for your counselling skills, that's for sure. I don't know what to do. Useless, obviously.
Natasha Dixon has prepared son Kai his first meal in the House of Tiny Tearaways.
That hungry donkey. I've read it
Where's Kai
about
gone?
16 times. Oh, I thought he was sat there.
Kai, sit up, please. Flip now. Thank you. Off the floor. Sit up. Get up and sit on your chair, please, now. As you can. Get up, please. Get up. Sit on your chair. Fine, stay there then.
Boy.
Kai, sit down, please, eat your dinner. Lunch, rather. What time is it?
I don't know, is it one-ish, two-ish?
Kai. Kai.
Can I try it on?
No, Tyler's looking at it at the moment.
I haven't tried
Kai,
it.
come on, sit over here with me, please. Finish for lunch. Come on. Come over here, please.
No,
No, they have their story and you've had your lunch. Come over here, please. I'm having mine.
I haven't.
Careful, mate, just smack him.
Cut it and throw all of it. Listen to
Okay,
Nancy
story when you finish eating your lunch. Come on.
No.
Oh, can you not start, please, today, Kai? Sit down, please. You have the sausages, eat them. What you asked for, sausages and crisps.
Paul and Sarah Newell are desperately worried about 2.5-year-old son Kai's disruptive behaviour. After an emotional and revealing consultation, can Tanya begin to solve the family's problems? Alison and Richard Scott haven't had a full night's sleep since their daughter Natasha was born nearly 4 years ago. Last night, Natasha slept with her dad as usual, forcing mum Alison to sleep on her own. Will Tanya be able to help Richard and Alison share a bed once again? Natasha Dixon arrived in the house today with almost 4-year-old son Kai. His temper tantrums and unruly behaviour are driving her to despair. Still to come.
Got the egg? Kai?
Kai?
Tanya has organised an egg and spoon race activity in the garden in order to see how each parent encourages their children.
Okay. So I thought we'd start with the eldest child in the house. Oh, Ms Dixon, I think that's your son. Okay.
Go fast.
So, are you ready? Are you steady? Off you go.
Through here, through here. Oh, God. Never mind, sweetie. Quick, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Yes, you can do it. There you go.
Darling, hold
There you
on.
go. Go round, in and out. Go round. Oh, never mind. Quick. Doesn't matter. You can. Just don't worry about it. And then hop and hop. Good boy. Yeah. Yay. Quick, go round. And back. Woo!
Are you ready? Come on, quickly. Quickly. Cross the line. Very good. Well done. Well done, and well done, Mummy. Right, who's the next oldest in the house? It's Natasha. Are you going to have a go, darling?
We have my turn.
I want to do it.
What's happened to you? You normally do everything.
Why don't you want to do it?
What's me?
No, you've done already.
Who would you like to help you, Mummy or Daddy?
I don't want to do it.
No.
Oh, Monty.
I know, but we want Natasha to have a go, so
Come on,
everybody
shall I
can
run
have
with
a
you?
go. And all the children
I'll run with
can
you,
see.
and I'll say, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Come on, shall I go with you? Come on, I'll go with you. Come on.
I want to do it.
Come on.
I want
Sorry, babes.
to do it.
Oh, but it's just fun. It's what you do when you go to big school and you do sports day.
All right then, Kai, are you going to have a turn? Everybody give Kai a big clap. Yay! Are you ready? Go. Go on then, off you go.
Come on. Go on. Go on. In and out of these.
Okay.
Well done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Round. Round.
We should throw that in it.
Come on.
Go on, Kai.
Well done, man.
Go on. Ready?
Yeah, go on.
Ready?
Well done.
Right, Natasha, do you want to have a go now, darling?
No.
No? Do you want to see
a
if
bit
she can have a go,
precious
or she's a bit precious today, is she?
Yeah.
Right.
Tanya's keen to see how the parents will deal with enforcing unpopular rules, so she's put a sweep machine in the house. The children are only allowed to help themselves once a day.
I said it was I'll teach them right, won't it?
So what's he in for then? Sleep?
What's happened?
Joke.
Yeah, he's just a
All right,
retort. No, everything else really. Just generally just him.
Oh, Tash thinks she's right independent, isn't she? She's like, I can go to the toilet on my own.
No, I was in the room a minute ago, laying on the bed. Oh, I don't want to play anymore in the room.
Really? Do you want the egg? Do you want the egg? Kai?
Kai?
I'll be sneaky. I'll be sneaky.
While Natasha Scott is looked after by the other families, Tanya has called Mum Alison and Dad Richard to the consultation room.
You're waiting to be brought into the jaws of hell, aren't you? You've just been so upset. And I feel that you're waiting for me to say to you, do you know what, Alison, you're a really bad mother. Oh, sweetheart. What are you worried about?
I don't know. I'm not worried particularly, I don't think. I'm just a bit emotional about it all. I think I know we're doing something wrong because what we've done hasn't worked. But
Right.
I don't know.
It's not a case of criticising it. It's a case of, you know, that's what you might be doing wrong, but do X, Y, Z, and that's going to improve things.
I suppose the bottom line is, as soon as bedtime comes round, it's as if there is a completely different child. I've had this fantastic, beautiful little girl in the house all day, just pottering around, playing really nicely with boys and not having a care in the world. And as soon as bedtime came, she became really quite stroppy, demanding, and all those things. And it was almost as if this child isn't the child that we've been seeing all day. Obviously, in my head, I'm saying, well, here I've got really great parents. I mean, you're great parents. She's an absolutely gorgeous little girl. So why is it that you're struggling with such a massive problem? And for me, there's got to be some story that will push us there. When I look at you both with her, sometimes she's still a little baby. Particularly at night time, I see that. And I don't know whether you're thinking, she's bonkers, this woman, or whether that makes sense to you.
Because I said to you, we've actually started to, you know, she dressed herself for a while, and then, you know, she doesn't dress herself now all the time. And I think because I know that I won't have another baby, I think. I won't. I probably
you won't have another baby?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
I don't think I could.
We've struggled with this one, haven't we? So
Well,
found it hard work.
Hard work having her?
I just find the baby thing stressful. I like things to be organised, neat, tidy, and babies are none of that.
Right, so what happened for the first 2 years of Natasha's life as far as you were concerned?
From the day we took her home,
it was hard
work. Stressful.
Right.
And she'd never stop crying, and we couldn't help her, and you just wanted to run away and hide, I think, and so you did. You took up hobbies, you landscaped the garden, you
kept busy.
But you kept away from her?
Yeah.
Alison would like to think it was all probably my fault, wouldn't you?
I'm not saying fault. I think that you couldn't cope and you didn't know what to do, so you didn't do anything.
Right. So don't get me wrong, it wasn't a case of coming home and you know, going to a pub, but I wasn't there probably as much as she'd want to be.
But you're saying also babies are just not your thing?
And is that, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Right.
They're not. But I can play for hours now with Natasha.
Right, okay.
So what I'm trying to do now I'm enjoying it, is do as much as I can.
To make up for the lost time?
Not so much make up, but just to give Buglugs here a chance.
Are you compensating for time you didn't have with her when she was tiny by having her with you alone in the bed at night holding her like a baby?
It'd have to be on a very deep level because that's just not what it feels like.
But
I mean,
that's
if I'm
so
doing
what
that,
it looks like.
Yeah.
Because you've prioritised your daughter over your wife.
Right.
I mean, she's incredibly powerful that she can kick her mother out of bed. So why are you not having any more kids? Because you can't, or because
because I wanted another one, and then we decided not, and then I spent about 6 months, the last sort of 6 months, thinking, no, I've got to decide now, because partly because I'm getting older, Natasha's getting older, I don't want it to be a really older sibling, and I said, right, okay, I'm fine with it now.
What I'm hearing is you've made a decision about not having another child, not entirely because it's what you wanted, but because of a situation and circumstance. And I think you're really, really upset about it. And I think you're really upset about a lot of things. And I think you're upset about the early days of Natasha's life and you and Richard. And I think, so you've still got quite a lot of sadness there. Richard, you are much more of a sort of black and white kind of chap, aren't you?
Absolutely.
And you're much more, it is what it is, and it happened when it happened, and we now move on. Neither of you are wrong, and neither of you are right, because you are who you are. But it seems to me that your relationship has always worked really well, but there's something about Natasha that brings out the most concrete side of you and the most emotional side of you. And the emotional side of you, Alison, winds Richard up, and the concrete side of Richard...
Yeah, emotions cloud proper judgment.
Right. And then I'm very aware that you're sitting here trying desperately not to break down into tears, and actually all you want to do is put your head in your hands and sob. There's something massive going on here.
But we're very different in our lives, aren't we?
She's very, very unhappy, Richard.
We're in construction, and you have to be. I can't be emotional in my job.
No, I know,
and Alison
but
can't be like I'm in her job.
I know, but I wonder how much you can connect with Alison when she's emotional, or whether you just want that dusted away tidily. And
I'm not into emotions and all. I'm just not. It's not.
But
it's
having
not
a child is possibly the most emotional thing you can do.
Yeah, I know that, but yeah. Well, I'm saying I know. I mean, you know, you are as you are, aren't you?
But maybe to resolve the problem, you might have to look at that a bit and be prepared to change, both of you. What is in this room is an incredibly emotional woman who has said, I think...
You are very emotional, though, aren't you?
But Richard has said something that I have found quite heartbreaking, which is, I'm not having another child, and I'm fine with it, but clearly you're not fine with that at all. I don't think you are fine, and I think you're cross about it, and I think you're cross with Richard about it, and I think you're cross with circumstances, and I think actually poor little Natasha is kind of getting all caught up in this, bless her heart. One of the things that I always find very interesting when I work with sleep problems is that when you've got a child in your bed, particularly when you've got a child in your bed who displaces a parent, there's one thing that's pretty much a dead cert, and that is that the parents are not having very much sex, which
therefore,
or any, which therefore...
That's another reason why we don't have a sibling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you've got an unresolved conversation about whether or not to have a child, the best way to not have to resolve it
put a child in
is
with
to have
you.
a child in bed. You see, I can get Natasha out of your bed by Thursday night. OK, but there's two major concerns I have. Is one, it's going to be hardcore. She's going to be very upset because she's not used to people saying no to her. How are you going to cope with that?
I'll have a week of that, definitely.
OK, and I'll be with you. And the second thing, on a much deeper level, is if I get your daughter out of your bed
that means I
with
have to
you,
get back in.
you get back in, which then puts you in a place which I know you want to be physically, but there's a whole other emotional conversation about then. Does that mean baby? Does that mean no baby? She'll be straight back into your bed. Unless you two find a way of negotiating and compromising with each other as parents, it'll all fall apart. Because as much as
that's the key then, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's the key.
As
So
much,
if that is the key, then that's what we're going to have to achieve between us.
I think she's kind of so in the middle of all this because her mum and dad can't agree on a few things.
It's just on a night though, isn't it? Or do you think it's through a day as well?
I think during the day she's a classic single child who pretty much gets her own way all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes? It's absolutely so entrenched in your family. It's quite amazing to see. And I want to show you really how entrenched it is, OK? So when she wakes up, this is what happens. She can't get back to sleep on her own. So, very powerful little girl. Mummy gets out of bed. Lots of comfort and cuddles from Daddy, so the message is, well, this is obviously okay. Daddy holding her like a baby. No one's given any impression that it's not the right thing to do. She gets a kiss. Another night that you two don't spend together. Oh.
I love you. That's what you just said to her twice.
Yeah, and you do love her. You're a great dad.
It looks wrong, doesn't it?
It is wrong, I think.
It is wrong, isn't it?
Yeah.
The whole concept of a grown bloke, she's too big, isn't she, to be in...
She's too big, yeah.
She is. I don't like that.
No. And I think at her age now, as she's getting older, she's nearly 4, in terms of how she understands gender and difference, absolutely have big cuddles in the morning, all together in the bed. Totally. But I think for her, at her age, 4 years old, to believe that sleeping is with her in bed is the only way she can go to sleep now is wrapped round her father. Equally, it wouldn't be right if it was with you. But basically what's not right is that she's completely powerful, splits the two of you, stops any chance of her having a sibling. I mean, it's just like she has got the most incredible power in this family, and I feel quite sorry for her because of that. Now, you see, tonight, when that happens, horrible old Dr. Byron here is going to be telling you, ignore it. Just take her in and put her in her pyjamas and say, no, stop it, it's bedtime, finished, enough. And she'll go, because she'll be thinking, who are these aliens who look like my parents? She is only going to do what you want her to do when you have the courage to say no to her. Yeah. So you're going to be tough daddy tonight, like really tough.
Can you do that tonight, or do you want me to do it first?
No, we'll have a crack.
It's time for your daughter to leave your bed. And
I don't like that.
And it's time for your wife to join the bed.
Oh, aye, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Yeah?
Can you read a book?
Okay, mate.
Please.
Come on, what's the matter? You coming with me? Oh, come here.
Tanya has given you this farm. If you go to bed really nicely on your own tonight, just by having a book and then a kiss and then go to sleep, you can pick something out of there. Then, if you stay in bed, in your own bed all night, you can pick another thing. So that means by the morning you can have 2 things and you can put them in the farm.
It's the Dixons' first night in the House of Tiny Tearaways, and Mum Natasha is putting 4-year-old Kai to bed.
Oh, come on.
Shall I lie in bed with you?
Yeah.
It's not dark. Come on. Move over.
Yeah, dark. Yeah, dark.
Good night, baby.
Sweet dreams.
Can I say sweet dreams back?
I want to. Look at
I
mine.
love you lots.
In the yellow suite, Paul and Sarah Newell are preparing for bath time.
Hey, my mate.
Hello, my young man. Mummy's doing bubbles for you and Tyler.
Tyler Burkle.
Can I have a kisses?
Should we have a three-way kiss?
I do love you, sweetie.
Should we have a three-way kiss? So you go that way.
Can I kiss this cheek?
Mwah.
The Scotts are following Tanya's advice and are trying out a new sleep routine for Natasha.
Let me read you this book. She has two children called Poppy and Sam, and a dog called Rusty. Different tonight.
Tanya explains the rapid return technique to Mum Alison.
Well, I think you need to say to her together, if you don't stop crying, we're going to put you to bed now. And if she doesn't, then you say, all right, good night, you give her a kiss, and you turn out the light and you walk outside and sit, and then we'll wait in the bedroom, and then you just have to keep returning her and see how we do, because otherwise she's going
to do this for an hour.
Yeah. So she gets loads of attention.
Lay yourself down.
I want you to sleep with
Naughty donkey, says Sam. I'm sorry, Mrs. Beach, says to the lady. Would you like to take this to the best competition? This is very good now.
If you don't stop crying, then there's no books and we'll just put you straight to bed.
But I don't want
But listen to what I'm saying.
out.
Do you want the book? If you want the story, then you stop crying. Okay, you're going to
I
stop?
don't want my story.
Okay, then do you want to go straight to bed?
No, I want to go to sleep with Daddy.
Right, if you
We're
stop
doing
crying,
something different
Daddy will read, and if not, we're going to go out, okay, and you just go to sleep. Right, okay then. Right, we have to come out. Come on.
I want you to stay with me. I want Daddy.
Come on, chicken. Go to sleep.
Daddy.
Go to sleep. It's bedtime now. Bedtime now.
Try not to listen to what she's saying, just to hear that she's really defiant. Yeah.
I want Daddy.
Alice struggling a bit now.
Having established that Natasha does not need to go to the toilet, the rapid returns continue.
need to toilet. I need to... I want to toilet. I want to toilet. I need to toilet, Daddy.
Don't let her hear you, darling.
Daddy, I need to toilet.
Don't let her hear you, baby.
I need to toilet, Daddy.
It's alright, my darling. It's alright, it's alright, it's
I
alright.
need to stay somewhere.
Sweetheart, sweetheart. Do you want me to stop it? No, because then it's all me.
I need to...
After an hour-long ordeal, Tanya takes the Scots for a final chat.
Look, there she is. Now,
What a battle.
do you know how long that? Do you know how many times you returned her?
About 200.
173 times.
Is that what it was? Seriously?
173 times.
Unbelievable.
Was it harrowing for you because of?
Because she bit me and she kept really hurting me, and that's awful, isn't it? And I just kept thinking, God, we've done this to you. You know, we've got to this situation where now you're nearly 4 and we're just starting to...
It's not her fault,
That's
is it?
so cruel.
It's just not, is it?
No,
At
of
the end
course
of
it's
the
not
day.
her
No,
fault.
it's not her fault. I mean,
It's ours.
children need to be taught a healthy sleep pattern.
Yeah.
And a lot of parents don't do it.
We should have done this a year ago.
I think where the real problem is for Natasha is that because she's an only child, she doesn't have to share you with a sibling. So she doesn't actually have to learn how to share you because she's got you all the time. I felt quite sorry for her then because she's experienced real rage for the first time in her life, and she's quite old to be experiencing rage. And she was biting you and kicking, but...
It was more that's what's upset me more, is that, God, we've...
But let's think about this. So because you said to me she's a, what did you call it?
Demon.
She's a demon, right? Well, let's think about this. The reason her anger is at such a primitive level is because you've never really let her get angry.
Yeah.
You spend all your time negotiating with her. Okay, well, if you do this, I'll do that, or whatever. And because she's never heard no, and then gone and then seen you guys go whatever and walk away, she doesn't know what rage is. So all she knows about rage is what she's learnt with you up until now, which is if I scream at night, I'll get what I want. You need to start showing Natasha when you're not happy with her. You need to say, no, Natasha, and you need for her to get cross, and you need to say, when you finish being cross, you can have a cuddle. It's a really important part of development because anger is a part of life.
After just 40 minutes, Natasha has woken up.
She's so upset. Don't run in, Richard, in case she goes back to sleep.
Richard settles Natasha back to sleep, but within 10 minutes, she's stirring again. Over the course of the next hour, Natasha is returned to bed a further 108 times, taking the total number of rapid returns to 281. Finally, Richard and Alison get into bed together for the night for the first time in years. Tomorrow on the House of Tiny Tearaways.
I think they were staying round. So, that's what I always think, good things never last.
Stop crying now.
But I don't want to.
We're going.
I don't want to go.
We're still going.